I never thought I'd see someone try to evict a woman in labor, but that's exactly what happened. My wife was in active contractions, heart monitor beeping fast, sweat on her temples when a woman in pearls and a navy blazer blocked the doorway and said, "She can't stay in that room. My daughter-in-law is arriving tonight." Her nameplate read, Brenda Hollis, Treasurer, Willow Ridge Estates, HOA. I still remember how poisonous those words looked. I was still in my hospital scrubs when I stepped forward. "Ma'am, my wife is having complications." Brenda smiled like she owned the place. "Then she can have the regular ward. This suite was funded by our community, not staff families." Behind me the nurse froze, gripping the clipboard Brenda had shoved against her chest. I looked at Claire, my wife gasping through another contraction, and something inside me cracked. "You funded a plaque," I told her quietly, "not a lease." Her smile slipped for the first time. She didn't know who she was talking to. "I'm Dr. Ethan Caldwell," I said, trauma surgeon, St. Matthew's Hospital, and member of its ethics committee. "So before you threaten another nurse, remember, your HOA doesn't outrank medical law." That should have been the end of it, but Brenda never understood endings. 2 days later, after Claire delivered our son safely, an email from the HOA arrived with the subject line, "Clarification on Hospital Partnership Policies." Brenda had turned her tantrum into a memo claiming I'd abused community donations for personal benefit. My stomach twisted reading it. She was rewriting history before the blood on Claire's wristband had even dried. That evening I drove to the neighborhood clubhouse. The place looked like a country club knockoff, too much marble for people pretending to matter. Brenda was already there, pearls shining under the lights, running the meeting like a queen addressing her court. "Dr. Caldwell," she said sweetly, "I trust your wife and child are well. We'll be reviewing how hospital suites are allocated to prevent misunderstandings." I let her finish her performance. Then I stood. "Misunderstandings happen when power gets confused with ownership," I said. A few neighbors shifted, whispering. "You said the partnership was approved by the board. I assume the minutes reflect that vote." Silence. Brenda blinked, caught off guard. She hadn't expected anyone to know the rules better than she did. I'd spent years inside hospital audits. I knew the smell of procedural bluffing. She finally muttered, "It's not your concern." "It becomes my concern," I said, "when it interferes with my family's medical care." For the first time her confidence wavered, and for the first time I realized I wasn't just fighting for Claire, I was dissecting the anatomy of control itself. That night I read every line of the HOA bylaws. No mention of hospital partnerships, no authorization clauses. Brenda had built her empire on hot air, but air can still choke people if you breathe it long enough. The next morning a nurse named Maya Ruiz stopped me near the coffee stand outside the hospital. She lived in our neighborhood. She looked terrified. "Brenda's furious," she whispered. "She says you're trying to damage the HOA's reputation. She's calling donors, lawyers, everyone." I studied her face, the guilt there. "You were there that night," I said softly. "You saw what happened." "I did," she admitted, "but Brenda helped me get this job when hours were cut. I owe her." "You don't owe her silence," I told her. "You owe her the truth." She hesitated, then looked away. "Be careful," she said. "She's not done with you." By that evening I came home to find a bright orange notice taped to my front door. "Violation public defamation of board member." Underneath, Brenda's handwriting slashed across the paper. "Spreading false allegations regarding community partnerships." I laughed. No anger this time, just clarity. When people in power panic, they write faster than they think. I pinned the notice above my desk. Evidence. Days later, Maya found me again. She looked shaken. She asked me to check the hospital donation portal, she whispered. Said it was to verify transfers, but I saw her personal account on the log. She's routing HOA late fees into that donation fund, thousands of dollars. That was it, the crack I needed. Can you prove it? She nodded slowly. I can get a screenshot. That night, while Brenda sent out glossy bulletins accusing me of abusing privilege, Maya slipped me an image of the HOA ledger. Her account number sat at the bottom right next to resident fee adjustment. I forwarded it straight to hospital compliance. 10 minutes later, Dr. Park's head of ethics replied, "Received. forwarding to legal for verification. The next morning, the bronze donor plaque vanished from the maternity hallway. Just a clean rectangle of marble remained where her name had been. The hospital was moving quietly but fast. Then came the summons. Compliance wanted testimony. The county ethics office was now involved. Brenda's bluff had triggered something real, and she didn't even see it coming. I called Maya to warn her. She was trembling. She confronted me, she said. Claims she has a digital alert showing I accessed the HOA drive. She said she'll have the hospital drop me. Maya, listen, I said, keeping my voice steady. You did nothing wrong. You're a whistleblower now, protected by law. She can't touch you. There was silence, then a shaky laugh. Maybe it was worth it, she whispered. That evening, rain slicked every identical driveway in Willow Ridge. From my car, I saw Brenda's SUV parked by the clubhouse, lights burning behind the blinds. She was pacing, arms flying, trapped in the cage she'd built. My phone buzzed. Dr. Parks again. County audit approved. Partnership with Willow Ridge suspended effective tomorrow. I leaned back in the seat watching rain streak the glass. Control was tilting. But Brenda wasn't done. The next morning she marched into the hospital with 2 board members and a folder thick enough to choke a shredder. Cameras followed her. Dr. Caldwell, she shouted as reporters turned. Tell the media why you've been harassing your own community. I stopped a few feet away. You might want to wait for the county briefing, I said. Fewer corrections that way. She sneered too loud. You think this hospital will risk its reputation on the word of a doctor under review? I tilted my head. That's funny because the ethics board just cleared me this morning. Her face went white. Behind me, flashbulbs popped. Inside, officials gathered for the press statement. The county officer read from a file. Audit confirms misappropriation of community funds by Willow Ridge Treasurer Brenda Hollis. Late fees were diverted to an unregistered personal account. Dr. Parks announced that the hospital was terminating all association with the HOA. A new plaque would honor institutional donors only. When she turned to me and asked if I wanted to add anything, I stepped to the microphone. Brenda stood near the wall, frozen. This isn't about money, I said. It's about what happens when people mistake generosity for ownership. My wife almost lost her hospital room because someone thought a plaque gave them power over human life. That ends today. Cameras flashed again. Brenda tried to speak, but her voice cracked. That night the neighborhood was buzzing. Headlights glared across perfect lawns, neighbors huddled in driveways whispering. The story had gone public. The HOA board called an emergency session. I went not to gloat, but to finish it. Every seat was taken. Leonard Pierce, the HOA president, looked 10 years older. We're here to address recent findings, he said. Our treasurer has been suspended pending formal charges. Brenda stood before he could continue. You're all turning on me, she cried. I built this place without me. Willow Ridge would be nothing. Someone shouted from the back. You used our money for yourself. Another added. You almost got that doctor's wife kicked out during labor. Brenda's face flushed deep red. You don't understand, she snapped. The hospital partnership was meant to give us influence. Influence isn't ownership, I said, stepping forward. She whipped toward me, eyes blazing. You ruined everything. I stopped beside the podium. No, Brenda. You did. You thought control was the same as care. It's not. Leonard cleared his throat. Dr. Caldwell, the floor is yours. I held up the folder from the county audit. This is the official report: misused funds, falsified documents, unauthorized representation. Your accounts are frozen. The county will appoint an external administrator. Gasps rippled through the room. Brenda swayed, searching Leonard's face for rescue. He just stared at the table. Brenda, he said quietly, we can't protect you anymore. From the back, Maya stepped forward, voice steady. You told me compassion was weakness, she said. But look around. They're not weak. They're awake. Brenda's shoulders slumped. Her hand shook as she pulled a folded paper from her folder, her resignation letter, and set it on the podium. The sound was small, but it felt like thunder. The room stayed silent for a long moment. Then Leonard spoke again. Effective immediately, Willow Ridge will operate under provisional community management until new elections are held. Applause started hesitantly, then grew. Not joyful, just relieved. As Brenda walked past me, she whispered, You don't know what you've done. Yes, I do, I said. I stopped you before someone else paid the price." She left without another word. Outside, the air smelled like rain and metal. Maya joined me near the flagpole, shoulders trembling but light in her eyes. "It's over," she said. "Almost," I replied, "because endings like this aren't explosions, they're quiet. Paperwork, signatures, accountability. The sound of control breaking cleanly." That night I drove home past the gate Brenda once locked to keep ambulances out. It stood open now, the padlock gone. Light spilled through the bars onto the wet pavement like something finally released. Rules only matter when they protect people, not when they're used to control them.